Hill Secondary School today, talking to students traumatized by a vicious beating last Friday. A grade 11 student was beaten with a bat by 3 young men who surrounded him in a school hallway. He is now recovering in a home with deep bruises but no broken bones. But his ordeal is serving to underline recent studies that show many high school students don't feel safe at school. Ted Chernecki has more.
Corporal Shorts, can you tell us just what happened here?
Yeah, we got a call this afternoon, around noon sometime, of an isolated incident.
The incidents, as they're portrayed, are isolated.
It's an isolated incident.
Isolated incident. It's a term you hear after just about every act of violence at our schools.
Well, that's one of the most common responses when you talk to a school or a school board on youth violence issues. They say, when these things happen, it's an isolated incident, but, you know, if you look at Tabor, you look at Columbine, these weren't schools that are being shot up every day. They're all isolated incidents, but the problem is that there's a lot of common warning signs that are failed to be acted upon.
James Miller recently conducted an unscientific survey on his website, End Youth Violence. Question: do you remember being bullied? 61% said that they had been bullied. Have you ever considered suicide? 73%. Yes. Do you feel that enough is being done to prevent youth violence and bullying? 83% said no, not enough is being done. Question: do you feel safe at school? At the bottom of the screen, 34% said that they never felt safe. More than 4,000 people responded to the survey.
The numbers definitely conflict with what the teachers and the school boards would put out there for you to understand or to think about.
School boards will point to the McCreary Report, an exhaustive study that suggested teen violence was not on the rise, but that data is now 6 years old. Police will tell you, though, that the amount of violence may not be on the rise, but the severity of the violence is. Just last week, a loaded handgun was seized at a high school in Richmond.
Our youth officers in the schools are becoming more and more involved in incidents with a core group of youth that are involved in settling their differences in some level of violence.
Police and others recognize that most of the problems involving that core group are born out of the home. Take, for example, the 13-year-old who slashed the throat of an older student at Rockridge Secondary in West Vancouver. In sentencing, the courts ordered that the boy be kept away from his parents in the belief that they were doing him more harm than good. That's why the RCMP is leading the way in hosting a national conference starting in 10 days to search for ways to get all sectors of society reconnected with the youth. Because recent research indicates that the more a teen feels disconnected from the home or from the school, the more prone to violence he or she will become.